How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday. Let me know when you guys all start to join in and can start to hear me. Here we are looking at some yellow blaze iceberg. So as you guys can see, these yellow blaze iceberg, they look a little different than your regular yellow blaze. They have like that iceberg coloration on top of the classic yellow blaze look. It's pretty cool. So they're looking really good. So I see a couple likes in here. Hopefully you guys are joining. Hopefully you can start to hear me. Here we have some red sheet trophiops. And these are all males in this tank. Down here we have some Mallory Island. Hello Davo, how's it going? Yo, how's it going? Good to see you guys. So today, hello Roddy. Today we are going to talk about just some of the things we're doing to prepare for the winter. And just talk about all that once we get some more people in. Over here we have some Gold Harbor Island Lethrinops. Oh, Jeff says he's only down to keeping his black bar endlers due to health. Hey, you always got to keep some fish in your life. They're nice and relaxing to watch. And just, if nothing else, you stay a little bit active taking care of your aquarium, even if it's just one or a small one. Down here we got the blue dragon bloods. So guys, just wanted to remind you about the Tank Water Tuesday competition or giveaway, however you want to look at it, but make sure you guys are entering if you can. It's a good way to potentially get some free money towards your next purchase. So we've been doing pretty well on it. It's been fun. It's great to see your guys' aquariums, and it's just an easy way for you to potentially get a little something for interacting with us. So we really like to see your aquariums, and it's fun to see and compare kind of like what we like versus what everybody else votes for. So it's been pretty cool. Here we have the blue orchids. And we have the tetrastigma. Now these guys are really nice, but they're a little bit more aggressive. They're a little bit larger too, so we don't have as many in the tank. But that's why we have more plants in the tank. Just kind of break the line of sight, keep the aggression down as best we can. Holly, we are getting a shipment in today, and it is from Indonesia. We're getting a lot of soft water fish on this order. It looks like some plecos, some new types of barbs and tetras, some really cool, it looks like some Suelia types, so we're getting some like some really cool fish, some new stuff, potentially some electric blue ram. So we got a lot of good stuff coming in. It should be here today. So we're actually preparing for that order. I just eyeballed these guys. They are looking really good. We got the Lethrinops mabasi, and there is a male in this tank right there. He is just really showing off. He was fighting for dominance, and he is just fired up. He's looking awesome, guys. I've never seen that red come out in the anal fin like that, and on the shoulder be so bright. So he's looking really good. He's not the only one colored up. There's one right there. Two. Oh, these guys are looking great. So this is the Lethrinops mabasi. So if anybody's interested, there is the entire name for you. Wow. And he was flaring up. This tank is just male, so he's just fighting for dominance. If you get some, if you had some females in this tank, I think they would be even more fired up. SWFL Aquatics. Which butterfly cichlid in particular are you asking about? Is it the Thomasi, the African butterfly from the Congo, or is it different fish? Just let me know. I do know we did have, I believe, some Thomasi in. If they may have sold by now, but they're kind of small, like 2 inches. I got Yellowhead Nakata Bay. Hello, Fish Fam and Chevy. How's it going? So those are just some of our African males. Here's one more. We got the Milana bicolor. And then right here we have the Eureka Reds. And this male over here is the dominant one in the tank. You can see the drastic color difference. He's looking fire right there. So we have been covering ponds. We've been preparing for the winter. It has been cold, as you guys can see. I am wearing a sweatshirt even though I'm inside. I've been outside all day. We covered a few ponds. We're not going to go out there and look. It's actually really windy, so the sound quality would be bad. But if you guys are familiar with ever watching us in the past, we're just covering ponds one by one. It's a lot that goes into it. It takes, for about 2 hours this morning, we had 4 people out there. We got 3 ponds. It was too windy. If it wasn't windy, we would have got more, probably 5 ponds, but it's a slow process. We're looking to cover anywhere from like 60 to 80 ponds, so 3 down and about 57 to 70 more. Let's look at some of these fish. Now, we have a lot of empty tanks right now, which is a good thing because the shipment we're getting is pretty large. So all these tanks in a few hours will have fish acclimating into them from our shipment. I did see a fish I wanted to highlight. I may have walked past and I did. Let's turn around. Chevy asked a good question. Where do we get the pond covers? And what's the Black Friday sale going to look like? Well, you guys will just have to wait and see on that. So, pond plastic. I'm going to set you guys up on these. We get that locally from a plastic company. It comes in large rolls. We get them in rolls that are 48 feet by 100 feet. So it's just large enough to cover most of our ponds that we need them to. There are a few ponds that are a little larger, so we do have to get a few larger pieces for those larger ponds, or they just don't get covered. It really depends. So we have to be strategic about which ponds we cover and what fish are in those ponds, because even though we're 20 acres and 140 ponds, we are limited on space because we breed so many different types of fish here. Here we got the zebra pikes, and as you guys have all seen, the large adults in our show tank, they're beautiful, and these guys are slowly starting to color up, and They are just an absolutely beautiful fish. They are a little bit expensive, so they don't fly out the door. But if you have the space, highly recommend checking these guys out. They're just so personable, and you know, they haven't been like the cold-blooded hunters I thought they would be. So they're not flying around being super territorial. They haven't messed with the plecos that are in the tank with them. The large adults in the show tanks, they haven't gone crazy and beat anybody up over territory. They've been mostly interested in just eating food. Now these guys are on mostly bloodworms right now. Probably some mysis shrimp. They would take feeders, but that's not something we super encourage if you don't have to have feeders. So we don't do too much of that. But definitely check those guys out if you're even remotely interested. I would definitely grab them if you had any interest in those at all. Let's see what else we have over here. Yeah, Dave, we love those pikes too. They're awesome. Now here's a fun fish, guys. Not the 3-spot handstanders. These guys are really cool. I definitely am surprised we still have some. We've had them for a while now. Very cool fish. They've been really hardy for us. But I want to talk about the other fish that's in the sand of this aquarium that you can barely see them. And I'm talking about the banjo catfish. These guys are super cool, relatively hardy. We haven't had any issues with them health-wise for the most part. Here and there we might get some fish that might have gotten beat up or something, but nothing of the sort where they're just getting sick. But let's look at one of these. They're all hiding underneath the sand. That's their complete normal behavior. Let me roll my sleeve up and pull a couple of these guys out of the sand. Now, you're gonna see they're relatively docile. They're not gonna go swimming off. They're not crazy. But you can pretty much handle these guys if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but you can see they're very, very calm fish. They like to just be left alone. They like to sit in the sand. They will come out when it's time to eat and they smell food in the aquarium, but I assure you this fish, if you're not familiar with them, it doesn't look like he's too healthy, but this is completely normal behavior for them. I'm going to release him. We'll see if he will go back down into the sand right away. He might just even sit there. They're not the type of fish to like waste a lot of energy. They just sit there a lot. Actually, really cool fish. You don't see them that often though. Like I said, if they are in your tank, unless you feed them, and they'll come out and eat, but they'll dig themselves right back under. So if you don't know about the banjo catfish, highly recommend checking those out too if you are into softer water tanks or more of a community tank where you don't have anything that's too aggressive. As you can see, very neat little fish, very cool shape. You can see where they get their name, banjo catfish. And if you guys can see the comment that just came in, a little bit more of information. And so we are in the comments, our office is saying the banjo catfish intentionally keep their tails sticking out of the sand and do not move as they are trying to camouflage as twigs. And as you can see, they look very stick-like. If you imagine the bottom of a lake or a river with all the sand, leaves and sticks, and they would just blend right in. But definitely cool fish. I love them. I recommend them. Let's go look at some other fish, guys. If there's any other requests about fish you want to see or any questions, go ahead and let me know. Chevy says those pikes are great for controlling guppy population. That is true. Uh, so GBL is wanting to know how the Balzani look and potentially some red humps. So we'll go look at some of those. So let's go see if we can find some Balzani and some red humps. I know I am in the right section, so we'll come across them any second now. So I do know the Balzani are pretty small. Right now we have the Balzani under quarantine. So we will see if we can find the red humps. Geophagus Steindach-Nari, the red hump. So sometimes we have red humps from the wild, sometimes we have some from captive bred, and I believe the ones we have right now are captive bred. Here is another tank of Balzani. These are a little bit larger size. Most of these are 2 to 3 inches. So they are the Balzani. And I don't... Here's some little redhead Tapajos. So Carly, if you can give me a location on the red humps, that would be great. We'll look at those real quick. C13, so we'll go look at those real quick. Before we do that, I just wanted to show these red back Amapas. They are looking pretty good, good size. That's a nice nice angelfish variety. So guys, I went the wrong way, so we're going for a little walk. But that's okay. And then here we are, the red humps. Turn the camera. So these guys are also 2 to 3 inches. You can see that male right there. He's been fighting a little bit, but he is the most colored up. One of the most colored up males, so they are already fighting for dominance. It does look like there's a female right there holding. You can see the bottom of her jaw is sticking out. Cotton, I did have a good time. I visited some family for the holidays, so getting that, trying to get the travel in before everything gets really busy here for us. So yeah, it was really nice. I appreciate that. GBL, so if it is listed as unsexed on our website and you want a specific male or female ratio, you can request it, but we will not guarantee we will be able to meet that request just due to availability. Somebody else in front of you might do the same thing. We might sell out of, somebody might order 20 and we might sell 20 and then we're only left with a few, and we might not be able to meet the ratios of male or female, but we do our best to meet that request. In some cases we can, and sometimes we can't. But we definitely see your notes. Just want to let you know that we do see your requests. We do add that to our, we do like feed that down the line to the people who pick and pack these fish, and sometimes we even print special labels that will say customer wants this, this, and this. So just know we do our best. We are very busy though, and sometimes it is what it is, but for the most part, if it's plausible, we will do it. I'm scrolling through a couple comments here. Holly says we have the best angels and you love ours from here. That is awesome. We really appreciate it. We do breed a lot of types here. So I did see a request for the Phosochromis rostratus. We'll go look at those. And I do believe these are currently under quarantine as well. They got a little rough with each other. They were beating each other up. So the water is a little tinted. There, you can see there is a male, not a male, but a smaller one in here that is beat up. But here's the rest of the tank. These guys are just under or right at 3 inches. There is a smaller one here. That one's 2 to 3 inches. So I'm not sure how these are listed, but there is the size. Here's they aren't, just so everybody knows, a 40-gallon breeder for size reference. You are welcome, Jose. Another fish I want to highlight are these Ysichromis blue-tipped. As a hobbyist, if you have a fish room, you have space, I would highly recommend these guys. They're a careless species, and they get amazing color. They are a like Victorian type, so I wouldn't put these in any sort of mixed tanks, but I would recommend, if you were to get this fish, to get them in a breeding group. The males are kind of colored down right now, and they're very stressed that I'm putting a camera in their face. But I'll sit back a second and see if they'll calm down and start to come up. Also, while we do wait, I'll see if I can get some of these on camera. These are some larger ones here. Like a lot of Victorians, they can go through a lot of different color stages, and they will change color relatively quickly. Right before I lifted the camera up, there was a full colored male in there, and he basically turned off all of his color as soon as I put the camera on him. But they get a really, really, really dark, like black, blue color. They get red in their anal fin. Nice looking fish, but it is critically endangered in the wild. And if you are a serious hobbyist, I do believe that if you're going to keep fish that are endangered, that it's kind of our duty almost to continue breeding some of these. So I definitely I recommend these fish, and if you do get them, I recommend breeding them. They're relatively easy to breed. They're just a mouth brooder, so you could strip the fry. You could leave them with the parents. You won't get as high of a yield that way if you leave them with them, but rewarding fish, you're doing something good, and would really wish some of them would color back up, but with me right here, apparently they're not going to. Even at the smaller 2 to 3 inch size, I do see a couple females. There is a female right down the middle of the screen up. She swam away. There, she is holding, so they're already spawning. And we have them even at a smaller size down in this tank. So we have 3 sizes of them. Looks like 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4s. And then I did see Harley let us know that they are a smaller hap, and they only reach out. They only reach about 4 inches. Christian, if there is going to be a sale, we will have an announcement right before the sale. We typically don't like to say if there's going to be a sale or not, just because we don't want it to ruin any surprises. These guys are looking really good. We have the flavescents, and these are all males in this tank. Oh, here's a nice one. Very common in the hobby, but the venustus. So the Nimbochromis venustus, they are a predator. No, I don't know if they're necessarily a predator, but they're a hap. The males get beautiful, bright blue with the yellow. If you have a mixed tank, I know they're more of a common fish, but I think they're one of the best looking fish that's kept in mixed peacock and hap tanks, especially when you get a nice full colored up male. Here we have some smaller Turkish peacocks. We got one male in there that's definitely really starting to stand out. So he's coloring up, probably keeping a lot of these other males that are in the tank colored down. And then down here we have the albino Turkish, which is a very unique looking albino fish. They definitely show some colors that a lot of the other albino fish in the hobby don't show. And we just missed it, but there was just a small pair back there that was spawning. It may have been on camera, I don't know if I got it, but they were circling around and the female dropped an egg and the male fertilized it. That was pretty cool. So yeah, you guys see here, we are getting prepared for that order to come in. And I know I said I wasn't gonna do it, but we'll head outside real quick. Hopefully the wind died down. I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. That way when I drive away, we don't lose signal. So just give me a second. I'm gonna turn the Wi-Fi off, and then we are gonna head out on a golf cart and just look at outside, and we're gonna go look at the few ponds we did cover before we head out for the day. So it seems like the wind actually kind of slowed down. And for you guys wondering what's going on with this new building, we'll take a look at it really quick. Right now it's mostly just a few items we're storing. We have, for anybody interested in our racks and how they're built, this is kind of similar. This isn't the exact way, but this is just a single rack. But essentially, if this was one of the racks, it's basically built the same way, but it's kind of double. So this would hold one. This looks like a 40. This would hold a 40, and a 40. If it was the racks that we have in the entire warehouse, it's gonna basically be double this. So haven't made too much progress yet. We are still waiting on getting windows in here. Once we get windows in here and we know everything is protected from the elements, then we'll move forward. But that is a slow process. So let's go for a quick ride. We'll look at the few ponds we covered and we'll talk about the process just really quick. It is going to get windy, so just bear with me. I'm not going to talk too much while we drive there. Alright, so it is still windy, so hopefully the wind isn't too bad and you guys can hear me. But here is a pond we just covered this morning. It's not entirely done, but we got the bulk of it. We still need to come back, and this little bit of plastic, we need to put a small board here and tack it down. But this is essentially what we do. Let's turn around over here, and you'll see one of the first things we had to do is spray the algae, which we did, and it is quickly dying. We just sprayed this yesterday afternoon, and you can see the difference between right here and right there. This is, the spray didn't directly touch this algae, but it touched here. It will kill both, but you can see just how fast it acted and killed this stuff right away. And but basically, it's hard to see, but I'm trying to get an angle. If you guys can see, there are wires that run across the ponds, and that is what keeps the plastic from sitting on top of the water and not allowing oxygen exchange. So the wires help keep that up. We take the 2x4s here, and we roll the plastic up into it and pull it tight, and then we tack it down into the dirt with rebar that is bent, and this just holds it down and in place. And this is what the rolls look like. This is how they come. They're wrapped up individually. We have to unwrap them all and then roll them all out. It is at least a 4-person job, but the more hands the better. And while we're out here really quick, this is one of our bird cannons. This helps keep birds away, because they will, it makes a big boom sound, and it's supposed to keep the birds away. And if not, the birds get very comfortable, and they will happily snack on a lot of our fish. So Holly asked, can the ponds get too hot when they are covered? They can, but typically the temperatures are relatively stable. Also, water temperature, the temperature doesn't rise and fall as quickly as the air temperature does. So relatively, in general, the water temperatures are pretty stable, but it is a possibility for them to get too hot. Now, it might look warm here, but I believe it's like in the 50s or 60s. I haven't looked exactly, but it is chilly, especially for these fish. And at night, it is dropping. So now is the time that we have to hurry up and get as many ponds as we can covered. And that is probably about 60 more ponds to go. So let's see if there's any more last minute questions. Chevy, no, that is a great question. That is a possibility, but any chemicals that we use, we've tested very thoroughly and made sure that it's a slow process thing, because just like in an aquarium, nothing good happens fast for the most part. So the algae and sometimes duckweed and any other types of invasive plants that could take over, it's something that we want to happen relatively slow, because that is a possibility that if everything dies, that releases a lot of CO2 when it's decaying and breaking down, and that could potentially cause an issue. So that is definitely a possibility, but we have it down to where we don't have to, we have a system down to where we don't have to worry about that so much. When it comes to the chemicals we use, they're actually, some of them are medications that are used in the fish farm hobby. So it's not hobby, but fish farm community. So it's not causing havoc to the fish or the environment. So, and it's basically just doing what we wanted. So that was a great question. I appreciate that question. So that's going to be pretty much it, guys. Keep an eye on the website. Keep an eye on Facebook. Definitely join. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, it's called Imperial Tropicals Fish Keepers Group. Follow our Facebook page and join our weekly Tank Water Tuesday, and see if you can get the most votes. If you win, you get free credit towards our website, and it just comes off your next order. You just have to put in the code, and that's it. But I really appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon. Later.